Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? If you're finding me for the first time, my name is Penny. I come here a few days a week. My goal is to inspire you, and I hope you can listen and learn one or two things. And by the time you're done, you're able to live a life with purpose. So today I have lipstick. It's a plus. I normally don't do lipstick, but I step it just a little bit, yeah. So if you're finding me for the first time, we are doing this book. It's a book written by a psychologist, and the book says this is what matters. And what I do, I invite you to my personal space. This is a workbook. I bought this book, if you're in America, from a shop called Five Below. It costed me $5, but I believe it's life-changing. So if you've not followed me for the past 3 days, the past few days we talked about creating a nice environment for you, which is your home, for you to be able to succeed. And then the day before, we said we should create a corner where we sit down to worry, so we are not worrying all the time. And then yesterday we spoke about designing your mornings and evenings by removing your electronics from your bedroom, and remove your brain from your electronics, which most of us have that problem. We are not reserving our bedrooms for sleep and rest because the electronics have literally taken over. And I think that was such a nice exercise for most of us. I mean, literally, we are not aware how the electronics have taken away from us. And especially you married people, you come into the bedroom, your husband comes with his phone, you come with your phone, you're on the phone. We are all victims of that. But moving forward, because we are studying together, we need to put that to an end. You're not the owner of Samsung. You're not the owner of iPad or iPhone. You're not the owner of computers. You're not the owner of social media platforms that you're using. But you have a commitment to your spouse. You have a commitment to yourself to have a clear mind. You can't go to sleep worrying about social media. You can't go to sleep not giving your partner the time that they need because you're on social media. So we need to be really mindful about that. And it's not just me, it's you and somebody else. If you're married to someone like that, create awareness and tell them, I found this lady on Facebook and she said we need to create time. Even for intimacy, sometimes your spouse could be on the phone and you're waiting for them to finish so you guys can be intimate. How do you wait to be intimate for someone? It is there, right? How do you wait? We don't know how they wait, but they do wait. The one who is craving the intimacy that particular day is usually patient, because what other option do they have? If that's your wife, that's your wife. If that's your husband, that's your husband. If that's the only person who's going to give you intimacy and they're on social media, sometimes you just have to be patient. But how long do you want to be patient with someone who's not doing the right thing? Hold on. And that is your spouse, who is letting the electronics take over. And it's very easy for that to happen. So there is nobody who we can say that is exception. We all bring this gadgets to the bedroom, and I challenged all of us. That's why I invite you into my personal space to go ahead and just disconnect. I am able to go to sleep once I hit that bed. Our prayer time in my house is around 9 o'clock because we have still a young child that goes to school. And that's the time we all gather in my bedroom most of the time and we pray. Every now and then I'll go to my daughter's bedroom to pray there. We'll join her. Or sometimes I'll go to our son's bedrooms to just, join them. But for us, 9 o'clock is the prayer time and everybody needs to go about their business. I'm encouraging our children to really avoid the electronics. It's not easy for us who are raising children who wake up and sleep with the electronics, like even going to the bathroom. It is so crazy. So I just wanted to stress on that in case you missed it yesterday. So do me a favor. Yesterday you guys were amazing. You shared that video that I did yesterday. At least 50 of you shared that video. That was a blessing for me. By the way, I do this in my private space. I stop everything I'm doing to give you 10 to 20 minutes of my time. I do not get paid for this, but it just grows me. It blesses me that I can invite other people to learn with me what I'm learning and to see what's working. Some of the things I'm doing, they're working. Some of the things I'm doing, they might not work. But it doesn't hurt for you to come into my space, listen to me, and try one or two things. The journey is the same. We are all walking through something. Each one of us is going through something. But we can make the journey a little more comfortable by sharing what we have learned along the way. So let's go to our topic today. We are going to talk about touring your own home city. Where you live, wherever city you live. I live in West Hampton. It's a small town, so I know the whole town because I had two of my children while I was down here. So when I was expecting, I did a lot of nature walks because I like the nature walks. So I literally know everything about West Hampton. So they're asking you to tour your city. That is the first thing they're asking you to even think about. Why is she asking you to do this? A lot of us who like to travel, not all of us like to travel. A lot of us who like to travel, if we are going to New York, if you are going to Kenya, we are going to Hawaii, any place you're going to tour, you look forward to it. We all pack and we are excited. We are going to Hawaii. We are going to Scotland. We are going to Jamaica. Do you see the preparation that comes with that kind of packaging? And what do we do, most of us who travel? We get a tour guide in that country and we book things to go see, and we book tours. We go online, thank God for the platforms, and we know where we are going to eat, and we know what exactly we are going to do for those days we are going to be there, which is probably, most of us do 5 to 10 days. I was in Dubai for 10 days. I had every day planned on what I was going to do, and it was exciting just to even think I was going to Dubai. The reason why they are telling you to tour your city, it's because they don't want you to wait. You don't need to wait to go to Dubai. You don't need to wait to go to New York. You don't need to wait to go to abroad, like to another country, for you to get the feeling that comes with touring a city or touring the place where you locally live, which is priceless. You might not need to pay any money. And then they're asking you, have you ever explored your home city? Some of us in our cities, which is, let's say, Nyandoche, most of our neighbors were very far away. We lived on 100 acres of land. That's a lot of land. So, like we went in the bush to look for oranges. For passion fruits and berries. But there was nothing there. But again, I want to talk about that for a minute. As an adult, I am 18 years. 18 years of my life, I was in that environment. Do you know, that's why if you follow me, you will see me going into these bushes. You will see me going into parks. I just have to go to a park once or twice. I just cannot be without, getting in touch with the natural environment. And it's because that's the environment I grew up in. Some of you grew up in the city. Some of you grew up in places where, there was nobody, you were by yourself. So they're asking you, did you even take time to explore your hometown? That is where all the stories are. Okay? Most people have never explored their hometown, and they don't even have the excitement that comes with it of going to a different country. They think their city is not that exciting. The curiosity that we have to plan and travel to go see other cities is the same kind of feeling you can have to do things in your local city. There has been a lot of money that has been made from traveling. Travel agencies have made so much money to plan your trip, to go do this, to go do that. When you can locally tour your home city, when you can locally take an Uber in the nearing city, you can tour that city. Okay, the next one. Now they're asking you questions, okay? Why do you enjoy traveling if you do? For those of you who don't enjoy traveling, maybe this is not for you. Why? Why do people want to go abroad? What is the reason you're thinking to go abroad? What are you thinking that you're going to be looking for? Are you looking for art? Are you looking for music? Are you looking for theater? Are you looking for food? When you plan to travel, when you're going to Jamaica, you're going to Hawaii, what exactly are you looking for? And then they're asking you, when you travel, for those of you who travel, what do you gravitate towards? What do you gravitate towards? What is taking you to the place? Why do you want to go to a certain destination? What will be the reason that you want to go to Disney? What will be the reason you want to go to Hawaii? What will be the reason you want to go to Africa? Or rather Kenya, South Africa? What is the reason that is taking you to another city to go to that city? Number 2, what do you enjoy? No, why do you enjoy these things? Those things that you go and look at. Why do you enjoy these things? Okay? What drives you to have a preference? Okay? How do you narrow your preference of, let's say, when you're coming to New York? What do you want to see in New York? If you go to Africa, what do you want to go to see? Animals? What are you going to see? How do you narrow that list? You understand? It could be history. It could be, the food. It could be the people. What really matters the most to you? So for me, I put 4 things, okay? 4 things that drive me when I'm traveling, and the important things, okay? Number 1, I want change of environment, because I've toured this city for so long. I don't want to just leave this place, okay? Number 2, I want to learn new things. When I went to Puerto Rico, I saw things that I've never even seen before. I want to learn new things. Number 3, we just came from the Poconos, and we walked into, in the woods. I want fresh air. Why do I believe there's fresh air in the Poconos? Because there is no pollution. There is nothing going on. I just want good air quality. So I will leave my house here because I have neighbors here, and go into the woods where there is nobody breathing, where it's only animals. I just want the fresh air. That I don't want too many things going on. I do go to New York, but New York is not as exciting. I cannot tolerate big cities because I grew up in a village. I would rather just go where there is nothing going on, because that's what I'm used to. Okay, number 4, I like history. I like to, if you tell me today that, tell me the story of Samson, I can tell you. If you ask me to tell you the story about Home Depot, I have the state where I work. It was established in 1914, and I like to look back. I like to know, I'm going to be history. So sometimes I'm interested to know what happened in Scotland, that they still have the castle. I'm interested to know in Puerto Rico why there is these people and these people here. I'm interested to know what is going on here in Hawaii. So everywhere I travel to, I want to know, or I want to learn the history of that place and why it is where it is. If you go to Scotland, there's a lot of old buildings. There's a lot of reasons why when you go to a certain place and you see things just a little different. When I went to Italy, when I came back, I learned one thing. I learned that I should have not left Ekewusi to just die like that. I should have taught my children Ekewusi, which is my mother tongue, because in Italy, they are speaking Italian and they do not care. Young people, they can barely speak English and they don't care. A few people are speaking English, but it's a plus. Had I not gone to Italy, I'd have not actually got to a point of regret for not teaching our children Ekewusi, because you know what? Other countries are speaking German, other countries are speaking French, other countries are speaking whatever they are speaking. Why did we just abandon Ekewusi? So I felt some kind of way, and I still deeply regret for not teaching our children Swahili, for not teaching our children Ekewusi. I mean, what was I doing? What could have been so hard? Because I speak fluent Ekewusi, I speak good Swahili. Why didn't I teach our children? So I'm challenged, and I came back. I've put my children since then in Swahili classes, and they are trying, but it's not the same. Okay. Now, the reason why we gravitate towards certain things, it's because they bring us a kind of a good feeling. And what is that feeling that you want to get from going to a place? Okay. Go outside of your home city and you want to look at that city in a different way. Why would you not look at your city the same way? Okay? And how do you feel if you took a tour in your home village? Would you feel like a tourist? I know most of you will not feel that way. Okay? Now, if a foreigner had to come to Nyandochevere, okay? Just play this in your mind. If a foreigner had to come to your hometown, are you able to give them a good tour of your hometown? Because some of you don't even know what's happening in your hometown. And she's saying, you need to understand why this matters. It is human nature to take what's familiar for granted, and that includes your spouses, that includes your children, that includes your jobs, that includes everything that you have. We actually take what we have for granted very quickly, and we don't think it means anything. When I was in Nyandochevere, I didn't know we were thriving. I thought we were suffering because I wanted New York, I wanted Hollywood. If I had to do it all over again, if I was in Kenya, I think I could have quickly bounced back and gone back to farming in Nyandochevere. So we take what we have or what we are born into for granted. Okay? You might tie your home city or your routine day-to-day kind of lifestyle boring. Okay? And you head out abroad to escape from your normal so you can get something new. While that is great to recharge, you can also create amazing moments in your home city, giving yourself things to look forward locally without spending a lot of money. And your week can go by easily or peacefully by you taking time to just escape from your house to your neighborhood. You know, in your neighborhood, if you take a tour, your intention is not going to work and coming back. You're taking a tour. You probably have time to say hello. You probably have time to even encourage somebody. You probably have time to do something different, but you've set that time to tour your home city. Let's say it's every Friday. You just take a tour and look around and talk to people. You will be surprised how much your life is going to change from just you living in a town where you come home to sleep in the dark and you leave early in the morning. You don't even know what's happening in your home city. So create a time for your home city. And they're telling you, you need to connect with what matters. After everything she has said, what do you feel at this time about your home city? Are you well connected to your home city? And then she's telling you, what do you want to give to your home city on your free time? Like, what are you willing to do? Some of you could be helping other people in your home city. Some of you could be walking people's dogs. Some of you could be helping fix your neighbor fix something. But because we just don't have time to stay calmly in our home city, we go by without helping anybody, okay? Now, taking action matters. How are you going to take action? Research your home city online. Take a minute, research Nyandochevere or West Hampton and see what's there. Get in the actions of the mindset of traveling. Put your mind like now you're traveling, you're going to visit West Hampton. And take those tours and see what you're going to learn. Look at the parks, okay? Take photos of your hometown. Actually, to even make it better, if you're watching me today, share those photos of your home city where you live. Take photos. Enjoy the scenery and give us a few photos so we can enjoy to see where you live. Because I can imagine if there are people in Australia, I want to go to Australia. I'd love to see your pictures. I have my friend in the UK, Bossy. Share those pictures of your neighborhood when you're taking your dog for a walk. Take like 5 pictures or 4 pictures and share. Okay? If there's a local group in your hometown that takes walks, go join that group. Because there are people in some communities that meet at a certain time every time to either walk their dogs or just take a walk. Join that group if there's one. Play a tourist to someone who's visiting. You could, when you're walking, you could ask, hey, how are you? Are you new? Are you passing? Or, you know, do you live here? And if they tell you they live here, how do you like this hometown? Strike a conversation with those strangers in your hometown. You'll be so surprised. In fact, I read somewhere in San Francisco, the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, there are so many people who commit suicide in that bridge. And I don't remember what book I read. This writer said that he was on his way to go jump off that bridge. Research that bridge. People commit suicide, I don't know how often. And somebody who was just touring that town stopped to ask for directions because that was his hometown. And he didn't care. That they just get so tired in that city, and after a while they give up. They just go throw themselves. They jump off the bridge, right? And he gave that man the directions. And this particular man who was looking for the bridge, how to go to the bridge, took time to tell him, "Are you local?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "My goodness, you guys live in such a beautiful place. If you've been to to that bridge, I've been there. If you've been to San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, there's a lot of tourists." This man started telling, "My goodness, this is such an amazing place. I wish I lived here." And this guy told him, "You know what? Even you can do like a business." He was telling him, giving him ideas how he can just sit there with water or snacks from like Costco. He just went on and on. "I've been making so much money. Like so many people are coming from this place." And that guy listened to that guy. He went on, to make the story short, he went on to start like a little, in Kenya we call it a kiosk, a vending thing where he was selling water and like potato chips to the tourists who cannot afford the regular shops. And he became a millionaire. I don't remember where I read that book. He started making money. He's like, "Oh, I can actually make money in San Francisco right here next to the bridge." He started looking at that city in a different way that he has never seen it. While some of us entered that city, we are like taking pictures and, we are so excited to be there. But he took it for granted. He never thought that some people travel miles and miles to come and tour that city, and he was ready to end his life because he was born there and he wasn't seeing anything because he took the city for granted. So they're telling you, document your experiences and share with other people, because you know what, you might not really know what your city holds. And then to move on to the next one, and even this story of this man that ended up becoming a millionaire from that tourist that was in San Francisco who wanted directions on how to go to the Golden Gate Bridge. He became a millionaire. Now, what happened after he started making money? What the writer is telling you, you need to ritualize success. Okay? You maximize success by getting clear on the journey that which you want to take. You need to start. You need to decide, where do you want to go? Okay? You're going to identify the rewards you're going to gain once you become successful. Okay? And once you start thinking like that, your brain gets that feeling, that feeling good dopamine. Remember dopamine? I asked Lena the other time. What you get is dopamine. Boost wherever you start thinking of how successful you're going to be. The next time, you're going to figure out what is standing between you and your success in your hometown, not out of another town, in your local town. The people in Africa have this tendency of telling us who are in abroad that send me capital, I want to start this business, they're always looking for capital. But they're telling you, put your mind, imagine being successful in your hometown. You could be taking pictures of your hometown and selling them. There's something that is in your hometown where you are, walking distance, that can bring you financial success and turn you into a millionaire, because you've never thought that your hometown has something that can turn your life around. Ask yourself, what is stopping you? Okay? Now, once you start really imagining succeeding in your hometown, you need to ask yourself, how are you going to reward yourself? What are you going to do after you just actually become successful from just your hometown? You're not using money to travel. You're not asking for money to start anything, because you already have, let's say, the phone, because you're watching me, you have a smartphone. How are you going to reward yourself? You're probably going to reward yourself by now planning an international trip, but you need to start in your local town. And I tell people this, you need to find success locally. Trying to think that you're going to go to another country to get success, sometimes it's deceptive. That's why people come to this country and they fail miserably, because they are thinking that they are just going to get here and become successful. Once they get here, this becomes Nyando Chebere. If I could not succeed, I forgot to share this myself. If I could not succeed in Nyando Chebere, I cannot succeed in West Hampton. We need to get that clear. If you cannot succeed where you are, where you cannot make mandazi and sell, where you cannot sell water, where you cannot sell bananas, where you cannot sell tomatoes, even create a small space where you're locally allowed to do something. If you cannot create success where you are, where do you think you're going to go and create success? Ask yourself that question. Where? Where is that success going to be if this success, you are not acquiring it locally? Where is it going to be? You are thinking that you're going to go somewhere and you're going to be very successful. It does not work like that. Success is going to start locally. And then she's asking you to identify the obstacles. What is stopping you from attaining success locally where you are? What are your obstacles? Okay? What are the factors do you think that are going to make your journey a little more difficult? Ask yourself. And then you need to tell yourself, here is what I can do to get around these challenges locally. Okay? What are some of the beliefs that stand in your way? Some of the beliefs that stand in our way that my father regretted after he came to America. He did not know. My father did not know that we could have been very much successful in Nyando Chebere. We have 100 acres of land, right? We could have been producing a lot of food. We could have kept, he used to have over 200 cows. My dad used to have sheep, the wool, they would shave the sheep for wool. My dad had tea, acres of tea, right? Everything that was happening in Nyando Chebere was going to turn us into millionaires. But he thought that if we left and came to America and became doctors and became nurses and became lawyers, my dad thought that that was the definition of success. He didn't know success was right there where we are. And he deeply, deeply regretted for sending his children to the United States of America in 1978. And those children did not thrive here. Because you know what, when they got here, this environment was really not, as a black person, the environment is not really structured for you to actually succeed, because there's a lot of barriers you have to break to actually attain the kind of success that he had. Because you know what, he thought once you go to America, you got it. No, it was not like that. And they tell you, oh, once you go to America, you're going to do this and that. No, success could have been just right there in the village. Okay? And then, what are those beliefs? I've said my father's beliefs. Then she says, you need to check in. You need to check in. How long am I going to dedicate to discovering my hometown and to knowing what matters that can put me into a successful state of mind in my local town? And then you need to set a time frame. How often should you check this? You need to put it together. You need to take a pen and paper and write these things down. Write the dates. Okay? Write the goal. Write the frequency. How often are you going to look around in your hometown to see what you can tap into before you go to New York, before you go to San Francisco, before you go to Sydney? What are we looking for in all these cities that is not available? Okay? What do you plan to achieve when you're leaving your hometown to go? And some of you don't like to travel, but you have left your hometown to go travel. Have you ever thought that you could find success in your hometown? Have you ever thought that you could be a millionaire in your hometown? And a lot of you will probably tell me no. But I want to challenge you and tell you what I've learned from even doing the chicken. I grew chicken this year. I grew chinsaga. I grew managua. If you follow me, you know I've been doing all kinds of things. And let me tell you the saddest thing that happened this year. And I have to do it. I have to do it better. I grew so much food that I was not able to keep up with the food. And food like Swiss chard, fresh Swiss chard, was rotting in my fridge. My, what do you call it, this thing, collard greens. I had so many. I didn't even have time to cut and freeze. I had so much tomato. I have so many tomatoes. I had so many eggs. I could not sell all the eggs. Right? I'm still trying to eat eggs here. Now we started eating more eggs than we normally eat because now we have eggs, organic eggs. And I started with 25 chicken. Right now I'm up to 12. I ate some of them. I think 2 were eaten and I ate the rest of them. But I blew my mind this year on just discovering how I can just make so much money if I had the consumers. I've never ventured into so many things the way I did this year, and I could not keep up. I grew, what do you call it? Butter squash. Let me show you. I still have my butter squash from this year. I got like maybe 20 or 15. They were just everywhere. When we go to the produce junction, I pay $3 for these things. I grew so much food here locally in a small piece of land. Like little, I paid $25 for that piece of land. And I have so much food. I could not consume the food locally. So many of you come into the inbox, you're telling me, or today I don't have food to eat, or I can't afford this, or I can't afford that. If you have time to get online and beg, you can literally get a book like this, which I'm doing online because some of you don't have access to this book, and plan your life around. We worry too much. We buy too much. We want too much. And I wrote a post the other day that I'm at a point where now I'm thanking God. When I'm going into prayer, I'm going with gratitude first. I'm not going with the list. I've been going with the list because I've gone through so many challenges. I've been going with the list of things to God. I've been just straight up, I go into the point. You know, sometimes you could be praying and you find yourself sleeping. I don't want to pray through because I get very tired after I've done everything I do. I don't want my prayer to end halfway. If you're praying in bed and you sleep like me, 5 minutes, at least it takes me less than 5 minutes and I'm gone. And I said, no, you know what? I need to change the way I pray because I don't even get a chance to thank God for what I have because I'm always starting my prayers with, oh God, help my children. Oh God, I pray for my husband. Father God, I pray for my mom. Father God, my job. Oh God, my finances. I have a list of problems that I deliver to God. And this is something I've been doing for a long time. And I caught myself, I believe it's last week. I don't know where my journal is. And I said, I need to change the way I'm praying. Because I have so much. I just need to, I'm better off being grateful. And I sleep through my prayer, being grateful. Because God already knows what I need. God already knows what I'm lacking. He is with me. But I need to be grateful because He has blessed me to do what I'm doing. I need to tell Him, Father God, you know, I come to you and sometimes I'm just so disappointed. I'm like, God, where were you? I'm asking God, where were you when this was going on? God, are you here? I don't feel you. Father God, I've been so faithful. Where am I? What am I missing? But I realize that I've spent a lot of time presenting my problems, which I never finished to tell God. And I fall asleep, and that's a problem. I was talking to some guy today. Let me show you something. I met this guy. His name is Tony. A week ago or so, in Trenton, where I went to do, where, you know, like I attended an event where you buy black. And he sells t-shirts. Where's that t-shirt? The website, if you go to his website, the website is trusttheking.com. Him and his wife have a business that they have written scriptures and saying, and you know, words on the t-shirts. Okay? And my daughter went to him, and he gave my daughter a hoodie. She bought one, and he just decided to bless her with one. And it was so exciting. And my daughter was like, oh, he just gave me something. It's not because she doesn't have money. When I later talked to him, he told me God led him to bless my daughter. It's not because she couldn't afford $20. He gave her a hoodie. And then he went on to pray with her. Because he said he has passion for young people. He's a father of 4. And we spoke anyway. So again, we crossed paths today. And I was telling him about this book. And I know a lot of you who are Christians have gone through this road where you question God. Don't lie that you don't question God. I read this book very many years ago. I bought this book in 1999. Okay? And James Dobson wrote this book. Okay? When God doesn't make sense. And in this book, he talks about things that happen to us. Okay? You're struggling. Let me read the back. I didn't mean to put this in here today, but I just need to put it there. Let me read the back of this book. And if you can, get the book. And he said, those of you who are struggling with trials and heartaches, they can understand why we question God. Why do we get diseases, terminal diseases? Why do we get divorced? Why do we get rejected? Why death? Why does sorrow sweep us in our lives and take everything that we have worked for? It just doesn't seem fair. This book deals with life, most troubling questions that we all have. You ask yourself, why? Why, God, why? Why did this happen to me? And he has spoken about men of God that were going in a conference. I think it was 8 of them. And their plane crashed and they died. All 8 men, God-fearing men, 8 fathers taken away from their families. Why? God, they were flying to go preach. And they perished in that plane. Kobe Bryant died with his daughter. Like, God, why? Michael Jackson died. Why? My father died before I could really see him how I wanted to see him. So things happen, and sometimes the things that happen don't make sense. So Tony and I were talking, and we said, we've done everything right as parents. You can do everything right as a wife. You can do everything right as a husband. You can do everything right as an employee. You can wake up every morning and you're following everything I'm saying. You're learning, you're saying whatever Penny is preaching, I'm going to just follow through. You can do everything right, but you don't get the results. Then you go to God and say, God, I read the scriptures. You asked me to do A, B, C, D, and God, I did everything. Why? And we are not talking just about Christians, the Muslims. Anybody who's human is going to ask why. And I told him, I shared with him, I said, I have learned to go to God with gratitude. Not to go to God with my demands. Not to go to God with my questions. I just learned recently because of the challenges that I have been through. And these challenges have made me to change the way I pray and the way I see life. I just need to be grateful for the... In fact, I have plenty. I have a lot. But we always want more. And that's why most of us have broken family relationships. Because we take our families for granted. We take our neighborhoods for granted. We take our children for granted. We take the blessings for granted. Like, I have so many clothes. I have so many shoes. I have so many bags. I think it was 2017, I just got tired of buying things. I have so many of everything. I have good quality bags, good shoes. I have bought things until I'm tired. I just don't want to buy. And that's how I started the non-profit organization in 2017. I'm tired. I don't even change size. I'm the same size for whatever. I don't know how many years. I don't need anything. When the kids, Christmas is coming, my birthday, I tell the kids I don't need anything. I don't even have space. I don't need material things. That's where I am at 50. I do not. I'm okay with this, with a little, seasoning. I'm just fine. And again, why am I saying that? Because I've worked hard. I've gained financial success to give me options. I'm not a dependent. I depend on myself. So now money is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for peace so I can sleep. And Tony and I were talking and we just said we need to create those boundaries from our siblings, from our children, from our partners. You need to create that peace by just creating boundaries so you can get a good night's sleep. Because at our age, at 50 plus, those of us who are not taking blood pressure meds, we are not taking diabetes, we don't have health conditions now. We have to be more intentional by having more gratitude. And the reason why we have conflict with people we live with within the homes, it's because we take the people we live with for granted. We take our partners for granted. I was speaking to another lady yesterday. I talked to a lot of people. And she said, I just want to ask you a question. When you notice that your man is just suddenly changed and things are not right and you're suspecting he's cheating, what do you really do? And I said, how do you know he's cheating? Oh, you could tell. I'm like, did you find the woman? Not really, but you could tell, like, he never used to groom himself. All of a sudden, he's grooming himself. Even that, they're just, oh my goodness. So he stopped grooming himself. All of a sudden, he grooms himself. She's thinking he's seeing somebody else. And then I call him. They don't live together. I call him. He tells me, can I call you right back? And then he doesn't call me back. And so I said, does that equate to cheating? What if maybe he has made a turnaround and maybe you guys rarely talk about nothing? He just wants to do something different. Then she's like, no, he's cheating. So she's 100% sure. So I was like, my goodness, that is interesting, because for me, if I see my husband is grooming himself, he's watch what he's eating, I'm thinking, the mindset, I'm thinking, oh, my husband finally maybe had something, or, like maybe he had me saying the other day that, we need to have quality time, or maybe he has had something, he has decided to groom himself. But the way this lady equates to growth is infidelity. And it's very possible this man is not cheating. It's very possible he's not seeing somebody else. He just probably woke up one day and he was maybe talking to someone, and someone said, you know what, Derek, you need to step up. Now you gained all this weight, you need to get a haircut. Derek, get new clothes. Somebody must have ministered to him. But now this lady is causing chaos. Anyway, she said, I had to end it. I said, you ended it, but really, I don't understand how you're going to base somebody's improving the way, I did the mask to show you guys how you groom yourself. You can't base somebody who stepped up on grooming himself to cheating. You can't equate someone who doesn't. I don't like to talk on the phone. It's something I try not to, but I just don't. I'd rather text. Now, if my husband sees me talking all the time and he doesn't know who I'm talking to, he shouldn't equate me talking all the time now to cheating. You see how we start looking at life, and then we lose very good relationships, because you know what? We've lost ourselves to insecurity. We've lost ourselves to taking whatever we have for granted. And now we want whatever is out there. So when somebody is doing something different than they've been doing, and they're your partner, you suspect something. I went so far to tell you that, you know what? God is on the throne. God is listening to you. Start appreciating the little things that are within you. Have a heart that creates boundaries. Have a heart that has gratitude for the little things that you have. You're going to see how God is going to bless you. Be thankful to your parents. Be thankful to your children. Be thankful even when your children are not performing how they're supposed to perform. Love them and just hold on to them. And you know, when we were in Jamaica, I was talking to a friend of, I had done something and I said, I don't want to do that again. I'm sure, because I'm so self-discipline I have. I said, I will never do that again, because when I did what I did, after I did what I did, I consciously went to God at that time and I said, God, forgive me for doing what I did. And I said, God, if you take me out of this situation, I should never repeat this again. It's a prayer I prayed. And I was in Mexico. I remember the place, the location when I prayed to God. So now I'm in Jamaica. And the same temptation is coming. And I told one of my friends, I said, I told God to take me out of this. And she told me, oh, no. God is a good God. So now you do that again. And when you go back, tell him, God, it's me again. I promised him that I wasn't going to do that. We make promises. We are not going to do certain things. And yet we go back. We break that covenant with God. We break the covenant with our co-workers. We break the covenant with our children. We break those covenants every day. And we are not remorseful. We are not remorseful. Nana, how are you, Mama? Huh? It's me, God, again, every day. Oh, God, yesterday I drank until I didn't know how I came home. God, it's me again. I'm drunk again today. We are not remorseful. We need to be remorseful. Sirobi, how are you? We need to be remorseful. We need to remember the covenants we are making with friends. We need to remember the covenants we are making with our parents. I remember the covenant I made with God when I went to the American embassy to look for a visa. I told God, God, if I get this visa, I will never leave you. I will serve you. I was talking to God before I could go to the counter. I'm alert. I always remember the promises I make with God, because I don't think I've prayed when I'm drunk. Because I've been drunk, but I don't remember praying. When you're drunk, you just shut down. So I'm always alert when I'm making those covenants with God. I'm like, God, I promise you. And let me tell you, when I arrived in America, and I asked my brother, when the Sabbath, I started preparing for the Sabbath. When the Sabbath, I'm like, so where is the church? And my brother laughed so hard. What do you mean church? I said, there's no, you people don't go to church? He told me, we are working. Who has time for that? Like a joke. I told myself, I made a covenant with God. I need to find that Seventh-day Adventist church here. And then he told me, I'm going to ask, the girl's name was Lorraine. There's a lady I work with. She's Seventh-day Adventist. I'm going to ask Lorraine where the church is. Meaning my brother had never gone to that church. And he came and gave me the address for that church. Livingstone Avenue, Seventh-day Adventist Church in New Brunswick, is where I went the second Saturday in America. I went to tell God that covenant I made with you there at the American Embassy. That if you take me to America, God, because I already knew God. I already had a relationship with God. And I've never left that covenant. I go to church because I want to go. Nobody takes me to church. I go to church. It doesn't matter what happens. I go to church because I want to be in church. Church is for sinners. I have raised my children in church. So we cannot be those Christians who we keep making covenants. We keep making promises to God. And we go back again every time. God, it's me again. As a parent who has children, adult children, I can tell you for free today. I'll tell you, if you have small children, enjoy the ride. If you have adult children, let me tell you, you're going to see how you've wronged God when you have adult children. When you have adult children living in your house, they do something, and you tell them, Sokoro, don't do this. Tata, don't do. You know, we like those names. Mommy, don't do this. And these kids do the same thing. And you know, what are you supposed to do as a parent? Naturally, the flesh will remind them that, I told you not to do this. Mom, I'm sorry. I told you. How many times we lose our temper? When have you ever gone back to God and told God, God, it's me again, and God started giving you a lecture? Parents, humble yourselves. There is discipline. There is standards of operations. But you need to know when to humble yourselves when your children come to you with the same mistake over and over. It is hard to love someone who is not cooperating. It is hard to love someone who keeps breaking a covenant. It is hard to love someone who has no commitment. And it is because we take what is here available to us for granted. And that is the challenge I went for you. In fact, I went into my spiritual side. I left the book. I left Dr. Perpetua and went into my spiritual side, where I'm telling God that, God, you blessed me. God, I have so much. In fact, I have so much. Why am I troubled that I can't sleep over something that didn't go the way I wanted it to go? How much can you want? So today I challenge you. Go into prayer. Start with gratitude. If you are awake. For those of you who pray with your children, I pray with our children at 9 p.m. There is the prayer I pray with the children. There is the prayer I pray where I'm laying down. That prayer that you pray when you're seated down with your children. Teach your children. Let us learn to start the prayer with gratitude for where you are. Put gratitude first. And then narrow down those other things. Like I tell the kids, pray for your teachers. God, we want to remember the teachers. God, we want to remember grandma. God, we want to remember their cousins. So itemize the prayer as you go, but start the prayer. That is a lesson for me. Start the prayer with gratitude. Because when James Dobson wrote this book, in all we give God thanks. In every bad thing, in every bad situation, in every challenge that is coming your way, be grateful that you're here to even know that you can speak to God. The rest of them have left us and have gone home. Before your time comes, enjoy the journey. And that's why we are doing this book. What matters on your day-to-day? What really matters? Call yourself into a meeting. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor. Share this video. I might not know it all. I just hope I've inspired you. I have encouraged you. And you've learned something by listening to me. In fact, I must have done more than 30 minutes of your time. And thank you so much for being so patient. Share this video. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And learn to live a life with purpose. You must clear your vision. You must set your destination. You must clear your mind. You must create time to worry. You must create your home environment where you're going to think about your business. Everything has its time. Declutter your mind. Create space for everything. Create time for your spouse. Create time for each of your children. Create time for your friends. Create time to think about your business. Strategize. Take a pen and paper. Write your goals and dreams. Even things that might never happen. Write them down. And God is going to find you when you're lost in that purpose. And bring people close to you that are going to help you fulfill your purpose on planet Earth. God bless you and have a lovely day.